My fiancée told me my sister was a bad influence on my children. She said I had to choose my family's future or my chaotic sister. So I set a trap for my sister. I just never guessed who would really fall into it. My name is Alex. And for the last 5 years, I believed I had built a perfect life from the ashes of a broken one. After my wife, Sarah, passed away from a swift and brutal cancer, my world collapsed. Our twins, Lily and Noah, were only 4. The light just went out. For 2 years, we were a triptych of grief, moving through our beautiful house like ghosts, connected by a shared loss so profound it felt like a physical presence in every room. My sister, Maya, was our anchor. She was the chaotic, vibrant, fiercely loyal yang to my more reserved yin. She moved in for 6 months, handling the school runs, the laundry, the meals I had no appetite to cook, and the bedtimes I was too emotionally exhausted to manage without crying. But Maya's life wasn't settled. She was a freelance graphic designer who worked odd hours, traveled on a whim, and had a string of relationships that burned bright and fast. She was everything a grieving widower wasn't, and she was our salvation. Then, I met Amanda. Amanda was a calm port in my storm. Where my life was chaos, she was order. Where Maya was a roaring fire, Amanda was a steady, warming glow. She was a financial planner, elegant, put together, and she saw my broken little family not as a burden, but as a project she was eager to undertake. She made me feel, for the first time since Sarah's death, that I could be whole again. We dated for 2 years. She was wonderful with the kids, or so I thought. She was always patient, always teaching them something, always smoothing out their rough, childish edges. When she moved in, it felt like the next logical step. When I proposed, kneeling in the very restaurant where we'd had our first date, it felt like the final piece of the puzzle snapping into place. We were going to be a new, perfect, shiny family. The first crack appeared so faintly I almost missed it. It was a comment, dropped over a glass of wine. "You know, Alex," Amanda said, her voice soft, "Maya is a lot for the children. Her energy is so unpredictable. Lily came home today talking about how Auntie Maya let her eat ice cream for breakfast once when she was babysitting. I'm just not sure that's the kind of influence they need right now. They need stability, routine." I laughed it off. That's just Maya. She's all about creating core memories. Amanda's smile didn't reach her eyes. Some cores are better than others, darling. The comments became more frequent, more insidious. They were never attacks, always framed as concern. Noah had a nightmare last night. He said he was scared of the loud monsters from that cartoon Maya let him watch. I had to calm him down for an hour. Do you think Maya's lifestyle, you know, the late nights, the different men, sets a good example for Lily about self-respect? She just doesn't respect our boundaries, Alex. She dropped by unannounced again. It disrupts the children's homework schedule. Slowly, insidiously, Amanda began to build a wall between my sister and my children. Visits were shortened. Phone calls were accidentally missed. Maya's birthday gifts a slightly too edgy graphic novel for Noah. A rock and roll t-shirt for Lily were quietly tucked away in favor of Amanda's choices. Educational science kits, and classical music subscriptions. I found myself arguing with Maya for the first time in our lives. "She's trying to erase me, Alex," Maya would say, her voice cracking with frustration. "And you're being paranoid." I'd shoot back, my own voice laced with a defensive anger I didn't fully understand. "She's just trying to help, to give them structure." The final straw was a massive blow-up a month before the wedding. Maya had picked the kids up from school and taken them to a punk rock flea market. Coming home with temporary tattoos, vintage band patches, and beaming smiles. Amanda was icy. That night, the concern turned into an ultimatum. "Alex, I can't do this," she said, tears in her eyes that looked so genuine. "I am trying to build a safe, structured, loving environment for our family. And Maya is a whirlwind of chaos undermining it at every turn. The children are confused. I'm confused. It's her or me. You have to choose." My heart felt like it was being torn in two. The sister who had held me up, or the woman who promised to be my future. In my grief-clouded, desperate desire for the perfect family, I made the worst decision of my life. I chose Amanda. I told Maya she couldn't see the kids unsupervised anymore, that we needed space. The look on her face. It was a wound. I saw the love in her eyes shatter into a million pieces. She didn't yell. She just looked at me, nodded slowly, and said, "I hope she's worth it, Alex. I really do." She turned and walked away, and a part of my soul walked out the door with her. For 2 weeks, the house was quiet. Oppressively so. The kids were listless. Amanda was triumphant. The new, undisputed queen of the castle. The wedding plans accelerated. But a cold, hard knot of doubt had formed in my gut. I started noticing things. The way Amanda's patient smile would tighten just a fraction when the kids laughed too loudly. The way she'd subtly correct Lily's posture. Noah's table manners. Their every word. Until they started to become quiet, anxious versions of themselves. I missed my sister. I missed the mess. The noise. The life she brought. One evening, I was setting up the new security system Amanda had insisted on, a multi-camera setup with audio, accessible from our phones. As I tested the app, watching the live feed of the empty living room, an idea, dark and terrifying, began to form. What if I was wrong? What if Maya was right? It was a monstrous thought. But once it took root, it wouldn't let go. I had to know. I had to be sure I hadn't sacrificed my sister, my children's joyful aunt. For a mirage, I devised a plan. A twisted, desperate test. I told Amanda I had a last-minute, unavoidable business trip to Chicago for 3 days. A high-stakes client meeting I couldn't miss. I packed a bag, kissed the kids goodbye with a heart heavier than lead, and drove away. I didn't go to the airport. I drove to a cheap motel 20 minutes from our house and checked in under a fake name. My heart was pounding like a drum. This was it. The point of no return. For the first day, nothing. Amanda was the picture of a perfect stepmother. She helped with homework, made a healthy dinner, put them to bed at exactly 8 p.m. I watched from my motel room, my phone glowing in the dark, feeling a mixture of relief and shame. Maybe I was the monster. Maybe I had destroyed my relationship with my sister for nothing. But on the second day, the mask began to slip. It started in the morning. Lily was dawdling over her breakfast. "Lily, for heaven's sake, eat." Amanda's voice came through the speaker, sharp as a razor blade. The patient mommy voice was gone. "I don't like oatmeal." Lily mumbled, "You will eat what you're given, and be grateful. There are children starving in the world. Now, stop whining. It's unbecoming." I sat up straighter on the motel bed, my breath catching in my throat. I'd never heard her use that tone with them. The day deteriorated from there. Noah accidentally spilled his juice. "You clumsy boy," Amanda snapped, grabbing his arm a little too tightly. Noah flinched. I flinched with him. Miles away. "Look at this mess. You'll clean it up. And there will be no screen time for you today. Perhaps that will teach you to be more careful." This wasn't the Amanda I knew. This was a stranger. A cold, impatient, cruel stranger. My blood ran cold. I had been living with a master manipulator, but the worst was yet to come. That afternoon, the doorbell rang. I switched to the front door camera. My heart leaped into my throat. It was Maya. She stood there, looking determined and nervous, holding a small gift bag. Amanda opened the door, her body a wall of hostility. "Maya, what do you want?" "I just came to drop off a birthday present for Lily. It's next week. I won't be able to make the party." Maya's voice was steady, but I could hear the pain in it. "You're not invited," Amanda said flatly. "Amanda, please, just let me give this to her. Let me see them for 5 minutes." "No. Alex and I have decided it's for the best. Your influence is toxic. Now, leave before I call the police." I watched, my fists clenched, as my sister, my fierce, proud sister, seemed to shrink. She looked past Amanda into the house. "I just want to know they're okay." "They're better than okay without you," Amanda spat. "Now go." Maya's shoulders slumped. She placed the gift bag carefully on the porch step and turned to leave. As she walked away, I saw her wipe a tear from her cheek. I felt like the lowest form of life. I had allowed this. I had caused this. But Maya didn't get in her car. She walked down the street, turned the corner, and was gone from the camera's view. I thought she'd left. My heart broke for her. An hour later, the kids were in the living room, looking subdued. Amanda was on the phone in the kitchen, her voice low but audible. "No, she actually had the nerve to show up here," she was saying. "Can you believe it?" I told her to get lost. "Yes, well, once we're married and the adoption papers are signed, it will be a lot easier. Alex is so sentimental, but he'll come around. He just needs to understand that I'm their mother now. Once that chaotic bitch is out of the picture for good, and we have full legal control, we can finally discipline them properly. This gentle parenting nonsense Alex insists on is why they're so unruly." I felt the world drop out from under me. Adoption papers? We had never discussed that. Full legal control? Discipline them properly? This wasn't just about pushing Maya out. This was a takeover. She was planning to legally cut Maya out forever and then… What? Show her true colors? My mind raced to the worst possibilities. The knot in my stomach turned to pure ice. I had to go home. I had to end this charade right now. I was grabbing my car keys when I saw something on the camera that made me freeze. A movement in the backyard. It was Maya. She was climbing over the back fence with a quiet, practiced ease I remembered from our childhood. She dropped silently into the yard and crept towards the house. She had a plan. She wasn't giving up. My breath hitched. This was it. The collision. She peered through the window into the living room. The kids were there, but Amanda was still in the kitchen. On her call, her back turned. Maya tapped gently on the glass. Lily saw her first, her face lighting up with a joy I hadn't seen in weeks. She ran to the window, Noah close behind. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I saw Maya's urgent gestures. She was pointing to the side gate, miming opening it. She was telling them to come outside. This was my nightmare. My sister was technically kidnapping my children, but everything in my soul was screaming that she was saving them. I watched, paralyzed, as Lily, clever little Lily, quietly unlocked the patio door and she and Noah slipped outside. Maya gathered them into a fierce hug, then put a finger to her lips. She led them, crouching low, across the lawn towards the side gate. They were almost there when the kitchen door slammed open. "What in God's name is going on?" Amanda shrieked, her voice a sonic blast through the audio feed. She stood on the patio, her face a mask of fury. I knew you were trouble. Get away from my children." She stormed across the lawn. Maya stood up, pushing the kids behind her. A lioness protecting her cubs. "They are not your children, Amanda," Maya said, her voice low and dangerous. "And I'm not letting you take them back into that house. You have no right. I'm calling the police. You're trespassing. You're kidnapping. Go ahead," Maya challenged, not moving an inch. "Call them. Let's all have a nice chat about why you're so desperate to cut their real family out of their lives. Let's talk about the discipline you have planned for them once you have full legal control." "I heard you on the phone." Amanda stopped dead. Her eyes widened in shock, then narrowed into venomous slits. The mask was not just off, it was shattered on the ground. "You nosy little bitch," she hissed. "You have no idea what you're interfering with. This is my family. My future. I've worked too hard to let you ruin it." "A future built on lies and manipulation?" Maya shot back. "You preyed on my brother when he was at his most vulnerable. You saw a grieving man with a beautiful home, 2 beautiful kids, and a broken heart, and you saw your ticket. You're a parasite." "I'm their mother!" Amanda screamed, the sound unhinged. "You will never be their mother," Maya roared back. And in that moment, she was every ounce of the fierce, chaotic, magnificent love I had thrown away. It was then that Amanda lunged. It wasn't a slap. It was a wild, clawing grab for Maya's face. Maya, quicker than I remembered, sidestepped and shoved Amanda away. Amanda stumbled, her pristine clothes smudged with grass, her hair a mess. The perfect image was in ruins. "You see?" Amanda spat, getting to her feet, her voice dripping with venomous triumph. "You see how violent she is, kids? This is the person your father wanted you around. A violent, unstable loser." And that's when I knew I had to move. I had seen enough. More than enough. I burst out of the motel room, phone in hand, the live feed still running. I was going to drive home and end this. But as I fumbled with my keys, a new voice came through the speaker on my phone. A voice that stopped me in my tracks. It was my own. "It's over, Amanda." I looked down at my phone. On the screen, Amanda's head had whipped around, her face a perfect painting of confusion and dawning horror. She was looking towards the patio. There I was. Or rather, my voice was, coming from the phone in Maya's hand. My brilliant, chaotic, tech-savvy sister. She hadn't just come to rescue the kids. She had come with evidence. She was live-streaming the entire confrontation to me. And I, in my panic, had activated the two-way audio on the security app from my end. My voice, transmitted from a cheap motel 20 minutes away, was booming through the speaker on my sister's phone, echoing in my own backyard. "Alex?" Amanda whispered, her eyes scanning the empty patio. "Where are you?" "I've been watching you," my voice continued, cold and steady, though my hands were shaking. I heard every word. The adoption, the discipline, everything. The psychological blow was devastating. Amanda's mind was breaking, trying to reconcile the voice with the empty space. She thought I was a ghost in the machine, a disembodied god of judgment. "It's not what you think," she cried, spinning around, addressing the air. "She's twisting everything. She's making me look like a monster." "You did that all by yourself," my voice said. "Pack a bag, Amanda. Get out of my house. If you're not gone in 10 minutes, I will forward this entire recording, video, and audio to every one of your clients, your family, and the police." The fight drained out of her. She stood there, exposed, her perfect plan in ruins. She looked from Maya's triumphant, tear-streaked face to the phone in her hand, to the empty patio, and finally to the children, who were clinging to Maya's legs, watching her with wide, fearful eyes. She saw it all. The game was up. Without another word, She turned and walked stiffly into the house. 20 minutes later, as I was finally pulling onto my street, I watched on the camera as she walked out the front door, a single suitcase in hand, got into her car, and drove out of our lives forever. I pulled into the driveway just as Maya was leading the kids back inside. The sight of them, my sister, my children, safe and together, broke me. I fell to my knees on the front lawn, the sobs racking my body. Maya looked at me, her expression unreadable for a long moment. Then, she walked over, the kids following. "You were here the whole time?" she asked softly. I couldn't speak. I just nodded, tears streaming down my face. She knelt down in front of me. And then, my chaotic, wonderful, irreplaceable sister did what she had always done. She saw my brokenness, and instead of kicking me, she started to glue the pieces back together. She put her hands on my shoulders. "You stupid, stupid man," she whispered, her own eyes filled with tears. "You should have just trusted me." "I know," I choked out. "Maya, I am so sorry. I was blind. I was a fool." Lily and Noah rushed forward then, wrapping their small arms around both of us. We knelt there on the grass. The four of us, a messy, imperfect, but real family, holding on to each other as the sun began to set. The revenge wasn't mine, it was Maya's. Her revenge was not one of malice, but of love. It was a love so fierce it saw through the lies I was too blind to see. It was a love so brave it climbed fences and faced down monsters. It was a love so profound it forgave the unforgivable. I learned a powerful lesson that day. The people who truly love you will fight for you, even when you're fighting against them. They will see the danger you're too enamored or too grief-stricken to see. And sometimes, the most dangerous monsters aren't the ones that hide in the shadows, but the ones who stand in the light, holding your hand, while they quietly build a cage around you and the people you love most. What did you think? Was my test a betrayal of my sister, or a necessary evil to uncover the truth? Could you see the signs I missed? Have you ever had someone in your life who pretended to be one thing but was secretly another? This experience taught me that grief can make us vulnerable to the wrong kinds of love, and that the loud, messy, authentic love of family is a force no imposter can ever overcome. I want to hear your thoughts. Tell me in the comments below, what would you have done in my situation? Have you ever had a Maya in your life who saved you when you didn't even know you needed saving? If this story resonated with you, if it hooked you, if it made you feel something, then do me a favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the dark side of human nature and the redemptive power of truth. And ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next story. And remember, family isn't always about blood. It's about who is willing to climb the fence for you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.